Okay, in example number 2, okay, we are only going to do 2b right now. In this unit, we rememorize those values you memorized in grade 11. Like sine of 30 degrees is forgotten. Cos of 45 degrees, root 2 over 2. Good. Some of us haven't forgotten them all, right? We're going to rememorize those again in grade 12. I have an activity that helps us memorize those. So some of the questions, like in part A, we're going to do that after we do that activity. So we're just going to do 2b right now. Determine the approximate values of the 6 trig ratios for 586 to the nearest thousands. So take out your calculators, because this is a calculator question. And for all 6 trig ratios, so we need to find out the primary ones. What's sine of 586? What's cos of 586? And what's tan of 586 degrees? And then figure out the reciprocal ones too. What's cosecant of 586 degrees? What is secant of 586 degrees? And what is cotangent of 586 degrees? So if your calculator has different modes, the first thing you're going to want to make sure is that you have your mode set in degrees. Yes, I want to help. No. Oh. They've got a new calculator showing up here, a little bit different than it was a week ago. Anyways, so we can hit our mode button right here and make sure that we're in degrees. So I've got my calculator in degrees right now. And now I can push sine of 586, enter, tan of 586, and cos of 586. Those ones are easy. So I've got negative 0.72, 1.04, and 0.69 to the nearest thousand. So 0.179, negative 0.1719. Wow. 1.036 for tan. And finally, for cos, we've got negative 0.695. Correctly rounded to 3 decimal places. Perfect. Looking at those answers, it tells you right away what quadrant 586 degrees is in. How do the answers tell me that 586 degrees is in quadrant 3? Only tan is positive. So again, like I said, a couple new ideas. There's our cast rule. Only tan is positive for 586 degrees. We have to connect that. That tells us 586 degrees is in quadrant 3. Now we go back to our calculator, and like most calculators, there's no button that says secant. There's no button that says cosecant. There's no button that says cotangent. The definition of cosecant is that it is 1 over sine. And, got to get used to this new calculator. I don't have any of my F function buttons up there, do I? I was going to show you something. If you have a graphing calculator, if you go alpha y1, which has F1 above it, I just can't read it, does this menu come up for you? If it does, and you push enter, it allows you to write fractions. Fractions are really nice because I can go now 1 over, and I can write sine of 586, and have that on the bottom of my fraction, and that's going to find cosecant. And I can do alpha y equals 1 over. Now, if you don't have that fraction button, that doesn't mean you can't do this. I'll do tan, there's 1 over cos. I could have just done 1 divided by tan 586. That'll give me the same answer. But the nice thing about that fraction button is sometimes we screw up on order of operations when we're doing our divide button like we have in this last one. In this case, it's going to be fine. But other times, the fraction button is going to be really nice. So if you have that on your calculator, I want you to get used to using that. So I can now write that this one's negative 1.390. Secant of 586 is negative 1.440. And cotangent of 586 is negative 0.966. Or sorry, positive 0.966. So we notice that if sine is negative, cosecant's negative. If cosine is negative, secant is also negative. If tangent's positive, cotangent's positive. Which should make sense because the definition is just 1 over. Right? Cosecant's definition is 1 over sine. If sine is negative and you have 1 over a negative number, it's still going to be negative. All right, questions for this one, which are just typing into your calculator. Just 7b, but I'm not going to get you to work on those right now. We're going to go right away to example 3.